As part of the Google Gemini competition, I was in the top 4 and my idea won rupees 10 lakhs. So they shortlisted my entry among almost 30,000 applications for the competition. Well, a part of my idea was having campus delivery robot that was incepted by Professor Andrew Thangras in the Spark closing ceremony in Jan 2025. So that idea I implemented along with one more idea he gave, that was to counter the problem of monkeys on the campus.
Flashback.
So one of my dreams for the ES students, build like a robo system for on-campus delivery of groceries. Okay, but there are huge challenges on campus. What do you think is the biggest challenge with something like that? Monkeys, right?
End of flashback.
Monkeys outside restaurants and misses, right? They are waiting for you to come out.
Yes.
And if you have an ice cream on your hand, they just grab the food out of your hand.
Yes.
So my idea was basically to solve that problem using robotics.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Stories of IITM BS. Today we are with Aditya Rao, the one whose crazy idea is going to bring us out from monkey threat era. Yeah, you heard that right. With the help of robots, automations and AI, he made that possible. So hi Aditya, so great to have you here. Please give a brief introduction about yourself.
All right, thanks so much for having me. I'm Aditya Rao. I'm a third year electronics undergrad here in the BS in Electronic Systems program. I'm currently in the second last term of my diploma. And a few more terms I'll be moving into the BS degree level. So yeah, that's about me.
Great. So how you initially grabbed this interest in electronics and robotics?
Well, electronics and robotics, it has been a passion ever since I was really young because my family background is electronics. So on a day-to-day basis, I've seen my mom and dad tinker with electronics circuits, taking stuff apart,
Great.
sometimes not putting it back because that's what I do. But yeah, this thing about, circuits and components that help you to implement stuff to solve a unique problem, especially robotics, because that's what interests me a lot. So yeah, it has been a passion for me ever since I was really young.
Oh, great. Means family background was the main factor there. And great. So you have recently won your idea there at Mood Indigo at IIT Bombay. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so it was the Google Gemini's Fund My Crazy competition. And this competition was the last part of my internship at Google, my 6-month internship. So I started out my internship as a GSA, a Google Student Ambassador, where they gave us tasks to perform, basically using Gemini for campus tasks, associating it with student life, daily life. And well, for the competition, well, it was a long series of, I would say, interviews across 1 month. So they shortlisted my entry among almost 30,000 applications for the competition. So my idea was, well, a part of my idea was having campus delivery robot that was incepted by Professor Andrew Thangras in the Spark closing ceremony in Jan 2025. So that idea I implemented along with one more idea he gave, that was to counter the problem of monkeys on the campus. So you may have noticed monkeys outside restaurants and misses, right? They are waiting for you to come out.
Yes.
And if you have an ice cream on your hand, they just grab the food out of your hand.
Yes.
So my idea was basically to solve that problem using robotics, because robotics is what I do. So that was a part of it. And in the competition, since the theme of the competition was craziness, I implemented, since it was an ideation-based competition, I implemented this crazy aspect of solving the monkey menace on campus for my entry.
Great. So as you have mentioned, there were more than 30,000 participants there. What do you think? What made your idea stood out from the other crazy ideas there?
I think being from IIT Madras in the BS degree program and especially getting to experience that problem in real life,
Yeah.
I think that's what made my application stand out, because not just me, many others like me were holding their favorite snack in their hand.
Yes.
Whenever they come out, they have certainly experienced this monkey trying to attack them or grab it out of their hand. So it was basically my experience that led me to come up with a solution to that problem. And yeah, I guess the guys at Google and the company that they tied up with, Communique, we were coordinating with them. So I guess that's what they liked, since it was a real problem. And it, of course, included monkeys. Who doesn't like
Yes.
monkeys, right?
Yeah. It's like anyone who is living at campus, it's a daily life routine became like you have to anyhow hide the things out from an uncle.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is great idea actually. So it was all about idea. Can you tell us about the project? How you are going to work on that? How you are going to make that automation possible? What are the technology you are going to use in that?
All right. So there is a big backstory to all of this. In IIT Madras, how I started into this, got started into this field of robotics. So I'm from the December 2023 batch for the very first batch of electronic systems.
Okay.
So at that time, I used to constantly tinker around with open source circuits and projects related to robotics. I used to do that a lot, and I used to send them to the professors as well. So Professor Janki Raman, he commented on one of my projects when I came for the December labs. And at that time, he really liked my idea of having this kind of robots because robotics and having robots that you could control using your mobile phone, that's something that stood out. So he mentored me and he gave me a lot of guidance. And this concept of, having robots, we conceptualized it into a competition, a fully fledged competition for Robo Soccer. We called it Robo Soccer, and that happened during Paradox 2024.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, right. So that was a really amazing competition. And before that, before Paradox happened in June 2024. So in the months of April and May, I myself conducted a series of online workshops. And these were instructional workshops where I taught the students how to build their own robots, like from hunting for the components, where to purchase them, how to assemble your robot, how to code your robot using MicroPython. So I gave all the participants and all the people who registered, we had more than 600 registrations. So all the people who registered, I instructed them how to do all of this and combine it into one unique package using which they could actually compete in RoboSoccer. So having that robotic platform as a base for any sort of activity, not just RoboSoccer, you can use that same platform for absolutely anything, even RoboWars, or even use it for other applications like a line follower or a obstacle avoidance robot, attaching a robotic arm on top.
Okay.
So the permutations are endless basically. So that robotic platform is what in my concept, I enlarged it a bit and then I attached an empty box on top.
Yes.
And that became the campus delivery robot. Of course,
Okay.
in the ideation phase, I did certainly come up with the idea of making it vacuum sealed so that when the food is placed inside it, no food smell escapes it and attracts the monkeys. So this is what Andrew sir gave the idea for having a campus delivery robot. So from, let's say, Ishtara to Alaknanda Hostel, that was the first route that I have planned.
Yes.
So the people at Ishtara can place the students' order inside with all the food, with the packaging and all, and then seal the vacuum box. And then the robot goes all the way until the hostel. It on the phone, the student gets a notification. He goes out,
From there.
he can take you out, and then he can take it outside. So that was what my idea was.
Why Alaknanda hostel only?
Well,
Alaknanda.
Alaknanda Hostel has a special place in my heart because that was the hostel that I was in the first year of my program here in IIT Madras in electronic systems. So for my labs in December 2023, I was there. For Paradox in 2024, I was there. So Alaknanda does certainly have a special place in my heart. That's why I planned the first route from Istara to Alaknanda.
Okay. All the very best for this. Going to implement very it is going to be implemented. So apart from this, you have also mentioned you were thinking for monkeys for the reinforcement learnings with the help of robotics and AI. What was that all about?
All right. So reinforcement learning is, I would say, it's action and a trait-based system. So, okay, I adopted a stray cat a couple of months ago, and I've been pampering it a lot. I've been feeding it cat food. It's a stray cat, nothing special, but it has a special place in my heart, of course. So I've been feeding it cat food. I've been feeding it treats. So one day I just realized I'm feeding it all these treats. Why not train it? So I trained it to give me its paw in exchange for a treat. So reinforcement learning, I keep my hand in front of it and it is trained to give me its paw. And every single time it gives me its paw, I give it its treat. So it associates that giving the paw action with that reward of licking that treat, the creamy treat. So that reward-based system is what I proposed for the monkeys as well. So I plan to have these kind of foraging zones that lead the monkeys away from where people are. Hotspots basically, like outside messes and cafeterias. So a foraging zone is somewhere deep in the forest, away from all the people. So it can be a conveyor belt sort of system that has a piece of food inside, but it's enclosed in a mesh. So the monkey can see the food, but it can't access it directly. And the conveyor belt moves from the cafeteria all the way until the foraging zone where there are no humans. And only after it goes into that foraging zone, the monkey gets its food.
Yes.
So the action of following that food away from humans and getting its food from that robotic body, associating it with food instead of humans, that is what the reinforcement training was about. So currently the monkeys associate humans holding an object in their hand with food. That's why we have all these unprovocated attacks,
Yes.
mostly driven by hunger in the first place. So training them to associate that foraging zone concept of having robots rather than associating humans with food was my idea behind all of this.
Okay, understood well. So, okay, Aditya, one thing more, like you have that background of robotics and all from starting. What do you want to suggest to a foundation level student who don't have that type of background and these robotics, AI, these things maybe feel intimidating for them? So, what do you want to suggest them if they want to pursue their career in these type of?
Well, I certainly wouldn't say that it's intimidating. Any challenge that you face or any obstacle that you have, you must look at it as a positive, from a positive standpoint. So whatever it is, whatever challenge it may be, you need to see it in a way where you need to understand how to solve it rather than, thinking about that this is a problem and all. So instead of focusing on the problem, you need to focus on how to solve it. But of course, being part of the BS degree program certainly helped me a lot because of how open it is and how supportive the program coordinators are, especially Bharti ma'am
Yes.
and my mentor, of course, Professor Janki Raman. So I was talking about the concept of teaching students in workshops, right? So Professor Janki Raman really liked that concept, and he converted that concept of teaching students in workshops how to build their robots, like searching for the components, putting them together, and building their own robots. So after this RoboSoccer competition, with the help of Professor Janki Raman and Kamla ma'am, who is the head of operations for School Connect, we converted this workshop concept into the School Connect program for electronic systems.
Yes.
So we call it the DIY initiative, Do It Yourself initiative, and I am the core team lead. And we teach students in class 10th, 11th and 12th how to build their very own robots in the same concept of online learning through workshops.
Okay, congratulations on that also. Okay, great. So you have mentioned about your Google Gemini internship also. How did you apply for that?
Well, I actually, during RoboSoccer, I had shot multiple videos of me using an AI agent to improve the code of that robot. The robot actually uses MicroPython. So I was in a live interaction with that AI model and I asked it, I gave it the code in the first place. I told it that this is the code for my robot, this is what the code does, and here are the list of improvements that I wanted to do. So I told it that these are the 4 motors. I want the robot to go clockwise first. I wanted to perform these kind of maneuvers. And that AI agent was actually able to do that. So those were one of the things that I used for my application into this GSA program. And then I finally got accepted. So as a part of the GSA initiative, GSA program, they did give us a lot of tasks, point-based tasks, like using Gemini for day-to-day life, how you implement Gemini for using it in your studies, or if you're using Gemini live, then you can, like if you're in a situation where you don't know what to do or want to ask it a doubt for absolutely anything, you can use it. So using Gemini live, you can point it towards that object and you can basically have a conversation with it like any other human being. You don't need to be one-dimensional with that AI agent and literally talk it like it's your friend.
It is going to be a two-way communication.
Exactly. That's what we worked on.
Okay, great. Do you like to mention some of the subject from your program also, which actually helped you in these robotics while implementing these ideas?
From the electronic systems program, there were, of course, multiple courses that stood out, especially, I would say, electronic systems circuit and thinking, ESTC, thinking and circuits, actually. And there was Python programming, embedded systems, embedded C, and C programming. So all of these stood out really well because the concepts in those courses really taught me how to implement it into real life. Instead of just using it to give your answers in the exams and just getting grades, that is also important. But on the other hand, I actually got to implement it for something in real life. And we had this RoboSoccer competition that I organized under the mentorship of Janki Raman sir. So that was really great. And as I also mentioned, the School Connect program, we now span across more than 11,000, 12,000 schools all across India, rural India, urban India. We also have schools in the Middle East, in Qatar, in UAE. We also have schools in Africa. So this entire thing was really something that is truly commendable because of the efforts by us, by the School Connect team, by the professors. So
Great, great, Aditya. One thing more I have saw in your profile, like from starting only, you were much active into the student activities things. What do you want to suggest to a studious guy who from starting like they are studying day and night, focusing on CGPA, not going for any student activity? I saw you were the deputy secretary also for one of the house at our program only. So what do you want to suggest to those students?
well, academics and CGPA is important. I definitely do give it equal importance. But at the same time, having extracurriculars and having some sort of involvement in student activities is something that is equally important as well.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, your intrapersonal skills is what truly brings out the best in you. Like just having marks, I mean, that only takes you to a certain level. But
Yeah.
having that personality and getting things done, that is what takes you to the next level. So involve yourself in student activities, take part in any house or any society. So that gives you some sort of experience to interact with people, right? You get to interact with people, you get to manage them, you get to solve problems, get things done, all sorts of things. So along with studies, I would say that you give at least 50% of importance to student activities as well, because
Yes.
the BS degree program,
Yeah.
as it is one of the most diverse student bodies out there in the country, if not the world, and it's one of the biggest as well. So I would say that you truly need to use this opportunity to interact with others, make new connections, and also make new friends.
Yeah, and actually it is an online degree, so it is mandatory for us to like go for all these student activities, bring some confidence inside us. Yeah, great. So coming to the School Connect program, you have mentioned number of times. Can you please explain about this School Connect program? What is this all about for our viewers also?
All right. So the School Connect program was started around at the same time when I organized RoboSoccer for the first time. Of course, School Connect has its branches, like it has for data science, electronic systems, even aerospace, architecture, multiple courses. So I am in the electronic systems part of it. So for electronic systems, we have a split course sort of system, where on one side, the professors and the instructors covered the theory-based courses, the same that we have for the ES degree in the BS program. And on the other hand, we have the DIY part of it, where
Yeah.
me and other TAs, I'm the core team lead, so we teach them how to build their own robots. So they learn the theory as well, and they learn to implement it hands-on. So for the electronic systems part of it, the same concept from RoboSoccer, which I organized, was converted into the School Connect program for do it yourself. And so far, we have taught at least 2,000 students from schools all across India, the Middle East, and Africa to build their very own robot sitting at home.
Yeah, great. You have been to many of the places, like you have been for the internship also in Google Gemini, you have been to IIT Bombay also. Tell us about the connection building and networking thing, how it is helping you.
Well, of course, being a part of all of these programs and internships definitely truly brings out, the best in people, not just in the person who's going for that internship. You certainly get to interact and get to know a lot of people who are in their own level, like extraordinary, I
Yeah.
would say. So interacting with them, and basically for the Gemini competition, at the end of the internship, they had assigned us mentors for the top 10 finalists. I was in the top 4. So for us, they had assigned mentors from Google itself. So our mentors included people from the DeepMind research team, from a few of them were product managers at Google. So interacting with them was an experience in itself, because they gave us their insights that they had learned over the years because of their experience. They taught us how to advertise our product, the idea, to those judges. Of course, we had Varun Maya, we had Tanmay Bhatt.
Who is this person that is making you channel your monkey rage?
Well, I talk as a representative of all my batchmates back in college. But yeah, all of us have experienced that our favorite snack being snatched away from our hands.
Just buy them a snack, bro. Just be careful of the monkeys. Nothing, I'm just kidding. It's a super ambitious and super crazy and like a wild, like I really like the imagination. So yeah, all the best to you, dude.
Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you to the judges as well, Saira and Gaurav. Thank you so much for your
I
time.
just want to say one thing to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to say give me an idea at all, but I'm just saying it's very commendable at such a young age. You're using your expertise, which is robotics, to use a very daily routine problem on campus. So it's a good thing that you're doing.
All right. Thank you so
At this
much.
young age.
At
Yeah.
Sai Babali as the judges.
Video.
So it was not like experiencing that in person, but at the same time, talking in a way that fits the judge's personality and their profile, basically. So that was the biggest experience that we had, interacting with those people from Google. And yeah, building connections along the way is the part of the journey. And I have also invited them for Paradox, since I'm the technical score. So they are more than willing to come for a session, an online interaction session, preferably even offline. So I really look forward to that.
Glad to know that you are inviting them also. It will be more than informative. Like, yes, great. Okay, Aditya. So we have discussed about all the connections and all, and how you got your idea selected at Mood Indigo there. You must had that time when you felt like it is not going to be like that. You were like so depressed. Tell us about that time.
Okay.
How you overcome that.
I wouldn't say I was depressed. These were just times where, of course, everybody in their life comes across such kind of situations where you think that nothing's going to work out. But at the end of the day, you try to bring out the most creative aspect of yourself, of your personality, and it just works out. So, as I said, instead of focusing on the problem, you need to focus on the solution.
Go
So,
for it.
whatever it is, you just need to start thinking.
Yeah.
You need to have that creative approach. Start thinking on what can be done. Think of all the possible combinations and combinations, and just start working on it. And it, at the end of the day, it always works out.
Yeah, it is going to be worth it only. Okay, great. Would you like to share any memorable moment you had of this program?
Okay.
Yeah.
In the BS program?
Yeah.
Okay. My most memorable occasion was certainly Paradox, because I organized RoboSoccer in 2024. So this was 2 years ago, right? So we had sponsors also back then for the event. So interacting with the sponsors company, convincing them that this is an event and we needed, so we got a funding of almost a lakh. And we were able to, I was able to convince them and explain to them what the event was about.
Yeah.
That company was an electronics company, right? They specialized in selling electronics components. So RoboSoccer being an electronic themed event with robotics and all such components, I was able to convince them to send out their components and advertise their products as a stall next to the event. The event happened right here in Hall 4 in ICSR building.
Okay, here.
So yeah, along with that, getting to interact with the people in Paradox, of course, back then I was just an event head. Today it is, I feel really proud that I'm inside Paradox now as the technicals department core.
Great.
So that the entire experience, right, it's not the destination, it's the journey for me. So the journey has been really memorable and a lot of learning experiences also I have.
Okay, great. Same goes for the professors and instructor also. If you want to mention any of the professor or instructor
Yeah,
as a mentor.
yeah, the list goes on and on because I am grateful for each one of them, especially in the Imperial office. I'm grateful for Bharti ma'am because she has been truly instrumental in guiding me through all of this.
Yeah.
And my mentor, of course, Professor Janki Raman, for making me the core team lead of the DIY program, where we interact with students from schools all across India and even other countries.
Yeah.
And I would also like to deeply thank Andrew Thandraj sir, Professor Andrew, for giving that idea, Muthu Vijayan sir, and also Kamala ma'am, who is the head of operations for School Connect. So she has been really great in organizing all of this. And School Connect is now really, it has grown to an exponential level because back then they had just interacted with a couple of hundred schools and now they have expanded really to a next level.
Okay. Okay, Aditya. That's it. If you want to mention anything from your side, you can.
Well, from my side, I guess I would also like to mention about this entire experience.
Yeah.
It was, more than getting to know people, more than interacting with them. The Gemini, I'm talking about the Gemini competition, right? Since the event theme was Fund My Crazy, the important thing to note here is that they weren't just looking for solutions. They were looking for people with solutions that were out of this world. They really put in words that, that's the saying, think out of the box. They wanted people who do that.
You must have that crazy idea.
Exactly,
Go
exactly.
to work.
Exactly. And the best thing is what I observed, literally every single person who is an employee in Google or works with Google or is associated with them, literally every single person thinks outside the box. That's why they made it where they are. So as part of the Google Gemini competition, I was in the top 4 and my idea won rupees 10 lakhs.
Oh,
So
great.
that was really great. So I'm really grateful for this opportunity from Google as well. And of course, for all the backing and support by my mentors here, Professor Janki Raman, Bharti ma'am, and everyone. So it's really great.
Great, Aditya. Thank you so much. It was really great, insightful session with you. Thanks to you all also for watching this video.